Good afternoon, welcome back to Little Hollow Homestead. As you can see behind me on the mountain, fall is definitely here. It showed up in the high country. We've had some snow up in some of the ski resort areas already, and so it won't be very long, it'll be down here. It's 1st of October, and we're just buttoning up the garden and getting things ready to close things up for winter. Keep the chickens alive, keep the dogs alive, finish the pigs out at the farm 80 miles away from here, and getting ready for winter, as rough as that is sometimes for us. So let's go get the dogs out and we'll go down into the actual hollow and see what's going on down there. Get my trusty helpers out. As you can see, I'm a little confused. I'm all fall up here, but I'm hanging on to summer down here. So I'm right in between. Let's go down the hall and see what's happening. Come on, Izzy. Let's go. I was just noticing the other day, we've got a nice little hanging banana squash right there. I just planted a bunch of banana squash and pumpkins along the hillside, mainly to feed to the pigs later in the season, but I'm starting to notice I've got some hanging pumpkins and some hanging banana squash. We've got our little chickens that were hatched in May. They're just about getting ready to lay. I'm letting them come out and free range a little bit. Problem is they don't know to go back in their coop yet. So I find them hanging out in the trees in the night. I have to go rescue them and put them back in their coop. I was hoping chickens came with that knowledge already implanted in their DNA, but evidently it's a learned behavior. So if you remember from the videos this spring, we had that big flood that came through here. I finally got around to flattening this flooded area back out, and I've cut a path rather than going down the bottom of the hollow. The new path goes around the outside. So hopefully that will keep us from having any more flood issues down here. And all these little number 10 cans that we had old food storage in that we fed the pigs, we've got walnuts in there. I'm going to try and grow some walnut trees to sell at the farmer's market next year. As winter approaches and it starts to get real cold, I'll just take and cover those with a layer of straw just to kind of protect them a little bit. And then up here in the garden, let's see what's happening up here. Up here you can kind of see these number 10 cans here. I've got these hybrid willow trees growing in them. If you look up here, you can see those hybrid willow trees that I've got growing. Those are only 5 years old and they're probably 30 feet high. So for instant shade, it's the way to go. So I'm going to try and propagate some of these and sell these at the farmer's market as well. You can also see in my tubs of potatoes that I've harvested. I've got my rabbit manure already put in there. I'll put some leaves on top of that and mix it up together, and that will just kind of marinate over the winter and provide a good soil base for the next year's garden. I've also got some empty spaces here where I took up my 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to be replacing those with some of these black buckets that I had really good production with this year. Got a lot of potatoes out of these. So I'm switching from 5-gallon buckets to these and some that are even bigger. My son's planting some trees as he's finishing his yard, and I'm going to utilize his big buckets for potato growing. Okay, so really all we have left in the garden, and I'll keep it just like this until the first frost pretty much kills everything. But we've still got quite a few tomatoes that are coming. You can look back here, see lots of tomatoes. There's still lots of green tomatoes. We've got 2 more farmers markets, and then hopefully I'll have enough to bottle a few quarts anyway. Sweet potatoes, definitely an experiment this year. We'll find out. We're going to let those grow as long as possible and see what we get there. Who knows? The marigolds did really good down here for pest control. I don't want to jinx myself, but I didn't have one squash bug this year. And I think there's two reasons for that. Number one, I grew my squash in black tubs, like everything else, so I got the plant up off the ground. I think that helped. I think the marigolds helped keeping the squash bugs down. I know a lot of my neighbors, and I hear people at the farmer's market come up to me and tell me all the time that their squash got annihilated. And they were happy that I had squash to sell them, and I was happy to have squash to sell them too. So back here we've got a couple of these little mashed potato acorn squash. Got a little baby spaghetti squash growing there. This is that Hasta La Pasta variety of spaghetti squash. They didn't grow as big as those hybrid yellow ones do, but they're really good. We actually had some for lunch or for dinner today. Got some cabbage. Cabbage did okay. We've had, it seemed like anytime it rained a lot, they'd get too much water and they would split. So we'd eat some, but most of it went to the chickens. Zucchinis, we still got some zucchinis that haven't died off yet, somewhere in here. There's just a little one's got nibbled on by something. But you got some little ones growing here. Like I say, we'll keep everything growing until the first frost hits and kills everything. Beans, I'm just leaving these beans to mature and dry as long as they can, just so I can harvest some seed for next year, save seeds. And all these beans came from seeds I saved last year, so we're just going to keep the ball rolling there. I've got one Armenian cucumber plant, or no, that's a Suyo cucumber plant that's still growing. The other ones have kind of died back with this colder weather. I'll get through the jungle here. Up here we've got the San Marzano and the Roma tomatoes growing. I've got some cherry tomatoes that are doing pretty well. I got a little butternut squash here that's I supported with some netting so it didn't break off in the fence. So hopefully we'll still be able to get some groceries out of the garden here. It just rained, so everything is soaking wet. Means I am now soaking wet. And you can never come past a cherry tomato plant without eating a cherry tomato. So there you go. All my empty pots are topped with rabbit manure. Underneath that rabbit manure, I've got a little bit of chicken manure as well. So like I say, they're ready to be put to bed for winter. I'll just put some leaves on top, work them in for organic matter, and then they'll all be done. As soon as that first frost comes, then we're gonna clean the garden out, start planning and scheming for next year. I have, I got some purple, can't remember the variety of garlic that I'm planting. And I also got some music garlic that's coming. Should be here tomorrow or the next day. And probably within a week it'll be garlic planting season. So that'll be our last gardening experience for the year before the snow flies. And here comes the chickens. Get out, girls. Nothing to see here. Okay, so I've got the chickens pretty much prepared for winter. I came in, I cleaned the coop out. You can see it's pretty clean. That layer of manure you get built up every year. I just come in and scrape that off. Then this is some of that old food storage. In here we've got dried milk, some old green beans. There's even some dried fruit. And then I put, there's some milk that I got from the food storage I put in there as well. And Izzy likes it too. My little, I don't know if you guys have this problem or not, but my little homemade chicken feeder, the chickens get in there and they'll drag feed out. And so it's just going all over the ground. They clean it up eventually. But I put this little tray here that you get when you're doing sheetrock. I just screwed it into that block of wood, and it's actually saving it. and I don't think there's as much waste. I've only had it here for a week or two, but it seems to be working okay. Excuse me. So I don't know if I showed you this before or not, but this aluminum frame, my neighbor had something that was shipped. It was actually turned upside down. I have no idea what he bought. But anyway, it came bolted to this aluminum rack for shipping. And of course, he thought of me when he saw the aluminum and thought, well, maybe there's something I could do. And sure enough, I've turned it into an indoor or an inside the coop perch for the chickens. They absolutely love it. If you don't have a perch inside your chicken's coop outside, highly suggest it. They love it. They love to hang out up here in the sun, in the rain, whatever. They just like being up off the ground. Let's see if we got any eggs. I've already gotten this one. I think that's our grand total. We've got 9 today, so that's not too bad. I just recently added light. I'm adding artificial light in here for them, so that we can force them to keep laying at least through the end of the farmer's market season. And then we'll take the light off of them. And a lot of these older hens are going to get sold off to make way for the new ones that we saw on our way down into the hole. We'll let the chickens free range for a little while this evening. They love being out. Saves on the feed bill too. Maybe this rain brought some bugs up from the soil for them to eat. Come on, girl. And since Stella likes to bark every morning at about 6:30 at all the deer, and put these bark collars on her. And she needs 2 because she's stubborn. But her favorite thing in the morning, oops, you got your ear. Her favorite thing in the morning is when I come out and take them off. Huh. Okay, good night, girls. You got fresh water, you got food, you got a roof over your head. What else do you want? Nothing? I love. Good night, girls. Bueno. Okay, so as things start to wind down wherever you are in the world, hope you had a successful gardening season. And I know you're probably the same way I am. As soon as that first frost hits, you're looking at seed catalogs, you're looking at layouts for gardens, you're thinking of what to do next year, what to try next year, and start that cycle all over again. So right now we're going to enjoy what time we've got left in the garden, harvest what we can, and prepare as best we can for the onset of winter. So until next time, thanks for stopping by Little Hollow Homestead tonight. Hope you've had success in your gardening seasons this year so far, and we'll catch you on the next one. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, it's all good. See ya.